Okay, so I'm here with the wonderful Oliver Kenyon. Oliver and I are going to be having a quick conversation about working together, the results, personal brand, business, high-level stuff. Let's kick things off. Oliver, welcome. First of all, would you mind giving us a quick introduction to who you are, who you serve, and what kind of transformations do you deliver to your wonderful clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. As far as who I am and who we serve, I'm Oliver. I am co-founder and CEO of ConversionWise. We are one of Europe's largest CRO and landing page agencies. We've been doing this for over 12 years, worked with over 4,000 plus brands. And effectively what we do is we turn more clicks into customers. So we optimize people's typically e-com stores, who are driving high traffic, high volume of traffic, and we generate them more money per visitor, essentially. As far as who we serve, it's typically e-com brands, but we do work with lead gen, SaaS, coaches, courses, you name it. Anyone who's getting any sort of traffic or visitors to their websites, we can optimize, basically.
Awesome, love it. And obviously we're here to talk about personal branding, content, results. I know you've had quite the transformation with your business over the last couple of years with content and personal brand. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that in how inbound and your personal brand specifically has changed your business and probably your life to take that even a step further?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, personal branding for me is one of, if not the most powerful and most important pieces of the marketing sphere, if you want to call it that. I always remember when I was started my kind of entrepreneurial journey, I read a book called Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. And still to that day, I probably haven't read that book for a good 8 to 10 years. I don't know how long ago it was that he launched it, but still to the day, that book rings true in my head. And the one thing I took from that is whatever you do, whether you are a landing page expert, whether you are an email expert, whether you're want to become the best painter in your local town, you need to become that key person of influence. You need to become that person that when everyone is talking about your specific subject, your name gets mentioned. And to this day, I still get frustrated if I'm on social media and someone goes, who's the best at CRO or landing pages, and my name doesn't get mentioned, because I became obsessed with that. Now, I did that for myself initially. I put out relentless amounts of content every single day. It takes its toll. It's a lot. It's hard. You have to put a lot of time into it. People think you can just come up with this great content on the fly. It takes 10 minutes. No, not at all. It takes hours per day to get good content out there. And it was only when I started working with ContentSmash that I was enabled to get my time back. They could still deliver that cadence of content that you need to become a key person of influence, but wasn't directly trading my time for the results that we were getting. So I don't think there's anything as powerful as personal brand and personal marketing. Like I said, I think it's really important that you become that almost kind of that blue ocean where, yes, it may be a micro down niche, but you are the person of influence within that niche. And if you become that, and that takes time and consistency, which is what people like yourselves help people like me with, the results are, like you said, game-changing, life-changing, whatever you want to say, because it's not an overnight fix, as a lot of these things are. You kind of comparable in marketing, you maybe want to compare it to like search, SEO kind of stuff, where you have to put in the legwork, you have to do the reps. I always use this terminology of like, do the reps. You have to do the reps. And unless you're yourself prepared to spend several hours per day doing those reps, well, the next best thing is to get you guys to do it for us. And that's what we've done over the last several years and seen amazing results. But consistency counts. Consistency compounds. So the more you do it, the more touch points you have with your audience, the more people see you on their feed. Because you have to remember, right? It doesn't matter what algorithm's going on any platform. When you do a post on social media, probably 5 to 10% of your audience are actually going to see that post. So you need to keep posting every single day. You need to keep up that cadence. You need to repurpose your content. And for me, as a founder of a company of 70 staff and hundreds of brands that we work with every single month, that took its toll. I burnt out. It was hard to keep up that repetition after a year of doing it. So I was so glad that I met you guys and you kind of took that over for me.
And obviously that in a slightly different scenario, in that you already had some understanding of personal branding, you're already doing it actively yourself, doing a very good job of it. The main problem was that the time aspect for you, was huge, and that was taking its toll in other areas of your business. When you freed up your time, what were the benefits of that? Like, what did that look like in other areas of business? What were you able to do with the business from that?
It's a classic problem with founders, right? Like you hear the whole kind of phrase of like working in the business instead of on the bit, working externally, looking down on the business, or actually being in the business and working on it day to day. Until you can step back and look at the business holistically and as a whole, it's very hard to grow that business. So what it does is give you your time back, but my time, no disrespect, is way more valuable than yours, as in you guys posting the content for me. The cost that you guys charge is minimal compared to what I save myself, because my time is more valuable, if that makes sense. And that's not just me going, oh, I'm more valuable than you. It's not. It's just, if my time is more free, I have more time to spend on bigger executions and looking holistically at the company so that I can grow. And for that year that I was doing the content, we did grow because we were doing great content. But when I could step back, it's also peace of mind. I think one of the greatest things that this whole setup with ContentSmash gives you is that peace of mind, because it's not only my time, it's also if I'm on holiday. For example, I go to Europe for 6 weeks every year to enjoy it. I've got 2 little girls. I want to make sure I can enjoy that time with them. Yes, I work, but I don't have to sit there whilst I'm playing with my kids and worry that I haven't done a social post for a couple of days. I just know it's going to be taken care of. So yes, time is great, but it's also that reassurance that even if I'm not there physically, content's going to be going out, leads are still going to be coming in, and that's like the second byproduct of using an agency like yourselves.
Before you moved ahead, what do you think, if there was any particular moment that like gave you that trigger of like, okay, now I actually really need to work with these guys? Like, what was that? We just like got to a certain moment where you just pulled the trigger?
Yeah, again, I think it was like a burnout and a time thing. Again, like me and my co-founder sat down and we stepped back, because when you're doing it, when you're in it, I think I was pretty good at content, but I definitely wasn't the best. But when you work with people who are the best and who live, eat, sleep, breathe content, they also know what to post, when to post, how to repurpose content for different platforms, when you should be engaging, when you don't be engaging. That's a full-time job. That's a marketer's job. So you have 2 options. You hire someone on the marketing team who's very expensive. You have to coach. There's a learning curve. They have to get to know your business. Or you bring the ContentSmash in, very affordable, can set up in no time, quick to implement, and you start seeing results straight away. So for me, that was just a no-brainer when I weighed it up between like internal hire versus agency. The agency was just a far easier route to start, and I haven't looked back. So yeah, I think for us, it was just that realization of like, okay, I now need to free myself up. I'm CEO of this company. Like, the CEO shouldn't be spending 2-3 hours a day posting content. I've got far bigger fish to fry, and that's what we kind of made a decision on.
And in terms of results from content, personal brand, like if you want to talk revenue, if you want to talk leads, whatever you feel comfortable with, but like talk to me about the actual tangible outcome that's come as a result of your personal brand, both high and micro level.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the influence that personal brand gives you, as far as like, I get offered to speak at all different shows, travel the world, podcasts, beyond that, the actual monetary tangible income is immeasurable. The fact that I can just know that this channel works. You can mess around with whatever you want. You can do paid media, cold outreach, email, SMS, SEO, whatever. You can do it all. I truly believe there is nothing more effective than organic social media, because you've built that influence. Now, there's a very different mindset of someone who's seen my content week in, week in, out, month in, month out, who then comes to submit a lead and wants a sales call, versus someone who we've cold emailed or hit on a Facebook ad. The intent is so different. You might call the Facebook ad guy a warm lead because he filled in your form. That's not warm. That's still cold. Like they've just seen you on an ad. They don't trust you. They don't know you. there's a real element of trust when someone follows you, has seen your posts, opts into your newsletter, and gets all these touch points across all social platforms. And that's when you build that influence, that when that lead comes in, they're already sold. We don't need to really do much selling because it's so warm. So I'd much rather, even though we get a big influx of leads, I'd much rather have, say, 10 what I call warm leads per month versus 100 of the cold, because I know that our call to close rate is so good on the leads that ContentSmash bring in, because they're warm and they're already pre-sold into what we sell. As far as monetary terms, yeah, I mean, we're a 7-figure agency every year, so yeah, we work with a lot of brands. We do great revenue, and a lot of that comes from these leads for sure.
Awesome. And you mentioned very briefly there your email system, something like the back end funnel. How much does that kind of under, like, as a foundation level? You're obviously using the content to get people on meetings, of course, also using the content to get people into a list and building that ecosystem.
I mean, whether or not ContentSmash does it or you do it yourself, I think everyone, if you work with ContentSmash, should have a newsletter, because what you guys enable us to do is aggregate a newsletter at ease. Because all we need to do is go onto our social platforms and pick the content that you posted for that week and place it into a newsletter. Like, it's so simple. But whenever I speak about social marketing, of course, I've done this for years, I always look at myself in the center of a sphere. Now, around that sphere, I talk about touch points. I think you need to have as many touch points as possible, and that's what you guys enable. You have a touch point on LinkedIn, you have a touch point on Twitter, there may be a touch point on YouTube if you're doing video, there may be a touch point on your newsletter, and then it all centralizes around conversion-wise or the personal brand. So I think newsletters are just a great way of nurturing in an organic way. I don't think you should ever look at a newsletter to be selling. I think you need to look at it as another social channel. And then when you build that list, of course, you can then do things like campaigns, sales campaigns, broadcasts directly to that list from that newsletter list. And that's when you sell. But you shouldn't, in my opinion, be selling on your newsletter. It doesn't work. But it helps nurture, and it's another way of just bringing people into your ecosphere.
Awesome. And then on a higher level, if you like, where would you say as a business, like broadly, have all of your the primary amount of leads been coming in from as a business, like for you?
Without a doubt, social. Yeah, without a doubt. Social marketing, 100,000%. I mean, we're very fortunate. We've been doing this for 12 years, so we have a lot of referral business. We have a huge element of trust in the industry because we've been here for so long and get great results. We're the highest rated CRO and landing page agency, I think, on the planet, if you look at Trustpilot, something we're immensely proud of. But none of that would have happened without social. None of that would have happened without your guys' help and what you guys do for us. So, yeah, it's immeasurable, like I said.
Awesome. Appreciate that. That's good to hear. Final parting advice, if I may. You touched upon it at the start, but if you were going to be speaking to anybody who's maybe just getting started, maybe they're struggling with their personal brand, or they don't know what to do, or maybe they're unsure of the next best way to generate leads and grow their business, what kind of advice would you give to them on building a personal brand and looking at inbound leads and how it's going to change their life and their business?
Get KPI, get Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. Read that book, become obsessed with becoming the category king or the person of influence within your space. If you're just starting a business, I would highly recommend niching down. Instead of trying to become the best email marketing company in the world, you're going to be in a red ocean, you're going to get ripped apart. There's people who've done it, been in there 10 years longer than you have. Why not become the best email marketing company for painters and decorators? You know, find your niche down. That's when you create your blue ocean, and that's when you can make a noise. I would much rather, as I said, 1,000 true fans than 100,000 people who don't really know who I am. So find those 1,000 true fans within your niche. And I think once you've then established that niche and a basic following, in my opinion, that's when I go to ContentSmash, because this is where you guys really can. You're almost like mentors, right? Mentors help you cut out mistakes and save time. You guys can do that. You can mess around on social for a couple of years. You can try and work it out. You can suck all your time. You can use all your time, or you can go to the guys who have scaled and leveraged this for hundreds of agency founders. And that's if you are ready to get going, that's where I would be going to speak to you guys. And I know the best thing about you guys, and I don't want to blow your head up here, is that you have many different ways of working with people. So just book in a call. I know you're always very happy to work with people in different ways. And yeah, I think that's how you cut corners and save time, in my opinion.
Awesome. You did blow my head up a bit, but I appreciate that. Cool. That was the wonderful Oliver Kenyon. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you.